For over a century, the name Johnson & Johnson was synonymous with trust, a household name, a staple in family medicine cabinets, a brand we associated with safety, care, and the gentle touch needed for a newborn baby. Their iconic baby powder, with its distinct scent, was a symbol of that trust. But what happens when that symbol shatters? What happens when the company you trust with your family's health is accused of a decades-long deception that could have devastating consequences? Today, we're peeling back the pristine white label to uncover the story of Johnson & Johnson's biggest scandals, a saga of lawsuits, corporate strategy, and a profound betrayal of public trust. It all started with their most famous product, Johnson's baby powder. For generations, it was a must-have for parents. But beneath its soft, powdery surface, a dangerous secret was allegedly hiding: asbestos. In a bombshell investigative report, Reuters alleged that Johnson & Johnson knew its talc-based baby powder sometimes contained asbestos, a known carcinogen, and had known for decades. The report claimed the company actively worked to hide this information from both regulators and the public. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. Since the early 2010s, the company has been drowning in a sea of lawsuits. Plaintiffs, many of whom had used the powder religiously for years, came forward with heartbreaking stories. They had developed ovarian cancer, or mesothelioma, a rare and aggressive cancer directly linked to asbestos exposure. Their claim was simple and damning. Johnson & Johnson knew its product was dangerous, but failed to warn them. Despite the company's repeated insistence that its products are safe, asbestos-free, and do not cause cancer, the legal battles intensified. In the United States alone, the number of lawsuits soared to around 60,000. Some verdicts were staggering. In a landmark 2018 case in Missouri, a jury ordered Johnson & Johnson to pay an incredible $4.7 billion to 22 women who had developed ovarian cancer. The jury found that the company had marketed its baby powder as safe while knowing it could cause cancer. The scandal wasn't confined to the U.S., it spread across the globe. In the United Kingdom, what started as a smaller case grew into one of the largest class-action lawsuits in British legal history. The number of claimants jumped from 1,900 to 3,500, all alleging that Johnson & Johnson failed to warn them about the asbestos risk. The core of their argument: the company was aware of the dangers as far back as the 1970s, but continued selling the contaminated powder in some markets until 2022. Faced with mounting pressure, Johnson & Johnson eventually stopped selling its talc-based baby powder in the US and Canada, and later worldwide. But for many, the damage was already done. Facing an avalanche of litigation that threatened its finances, Johnson & Johnson devised a controversial legal strategy. It was a maneuver known as the Texas two-step. The company created a new subsidiary, LTL Management, and transferred all the talc-related liabilities to it. Immediately after, LTL Management filed for bankruptcy. The goal was to wall off the parent company from the lawsuits and force all claimants into a single bankruptcy court, where a settlement fund, in this case around $10 billion, could resolve all current and future claims. It was a move to protect the vast majority of Johnson & Johnson's assets from the legal storm. However, the courts didn't buy it. Twice, U.S. judges rejected the bankruptcy plan, ruling that the newly formed subsidiary was not in financial distress and that this was an abuse of the bankruptcy system. The company tried a third time in early 2025, but a judge in Houston shut it down again. Judge Christopher Lopez delivered a powerful ruling stating the company was not eligible for bankruptcy protection. He wrote, although the court's decision was not easy, it was the correct one. The judge's decision highlighted major flaws in Johnson & Johnson's proposal. He noted it lacked sufficient support from the very women it was meant to compensate. The company had claimed that 83% of plaintiffs supported the deal. But the judge found serious errors, stating that at least half of the ballots were invalid. He pointed out that some lawyers had voted on behalf of their clients without clear permission, and others were even willing to testify that they felt pressured to vote yes. Andy Birchfield, an attorney representing plaintiffs who fought the bankruptcy plan, called it nothing more than a deceptive move to avoid full accountability. With the bankruptcy strategy defeated, he declared, "We are now moving forward with trial procedures, where our clients will finally have the opportunity to present their cases to a jury and obtain the justice they deserve." Johnson & Johnson announced it wouldn't appeal the decision. Instead, it would pivot back to fighting the lawsuits in court, one by one, while still offering a settlement system outside of bankruptcy. Under that proposed plan, ovarian cancer patients might receive between $75,000 and $150,000. But for many, no amount of money could undo the damage or restore the broken trust. Unfortunately, the baby powder scandal wasn't an isolated incident. More questions about Johnson & Johnson's product safety were just around the corner. In 2021, another bombshell dropped, this time concerning its sunscreen products. Independent testing found that several of the company's popular spray sunscreens, including those from its well-known Aveeno and Neutrogena brands, contained benzene. Benzene is a chemical known to cause cancer, specifically blood cancers like leukemia. This discovery led to a massive recall of contaminated products. Johnson & Johnson promised to review its quality control, but the incident added another layer of doubt for consumers already wary of the company's commitment to safety. And the list goes on. The company has also been a central figure in America's devastating opioid crisis. Johnson & Johnson developed and marketed powerful opioid painkillers like OxyContin and Duragesic. In 2019, an Oklahoma court found the company guilty of fueling the state's opioid epidemic through a deceptive marketing campaign that downplayed the addiction risks of these drugs. The court ordered Johnson & Johnson to pay $572 million. Lawyers argued that the company had deliberately ignored warnings and pushed its products on doctors and patients as a safe solution for pain. Despite knowing their high potential for addiction, by 2021, the company agreed to a larger $5 billion settlement to resolve opioid-related lawsuits across the United States. Then there was the Risperidone scandal. Risperidone is an antipsychotic drug developed by Johnson & Johnson, approved for treating specific mental disorders. But the company was accused of illegally marketing the drug for unapproved uses, particularly to children and elderly patients with dementia. This off-label marketing led to thousands of lawsuits from individuals who suffered severe side effects. One of the most shocking side effects was gynecomastia, the growth of male breast tissue. In 2013, Johnson & Johnson paid a staggering $2.2 billion to settle claims that it had improperly marketed Risperidone. But the legal troubles didn't end there. In 2019, a Philadelphia jury delivered an even more stunning verdict, ordering the company to pay $8 billion to a single plaintiff. The jury found that Johnson & Johnson's reckless marketing of Risperidone had caused his severe side effects, from baby powder to sunscreen, from opioids to antipsychotics. A pattern emerges. These scandals paint a picture of a corporate giant that, on multiple occasions, has been accused of prioritizing profits over public health, of failing to comply with regulations, and of endangering the very consumers who placed their trust in its name, a company with over 130 years of history. Once a pillar of reliability in homes around the world, is now facing a crisis of trust. While Johnson & Johnson has paid billions in fines and settlements, the damage to its reputation is immeasurable. The story of Johnson & Johnson serves as a powerful and cautionary tale. It shows that trust, once broken, is incredibly difficult to repair, and it raises a crucial question for all of us. Who do we trust with our health, and what does it take to hold even the most powerful corporations accountable? Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world. We'll see you in the next one.